I hired Leroy's Garage to repair my Toyota Tundra, and after continued problems with my cooling system that they were hired to repair, I took it to an independent mechanic, and I was told that a thermostat was not put in to the engine.
Okay. Gentlemen, do y'all wish to respond to his opening statement, or y'all just waive opening statement?
No, I'll respond to it.
So you're not the, are you Kenneth?
I'm not Kenneth, but I'm the one
He
that
has-
does the job.
He has to be the one that has to testify. You're a witness, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah,
The only thing he's doing is just making a short opening statement. Do you want to say anything in response to that, or you want to just defend it here in a moment?
I'll just make it here, man.
Okay, thank you. All right. So Ian, what is your case? You're saying you took your vehicle to them to fix and they did not put a thermostat in there?
Yes, Your Honor. So in August of 2025, I called Kenneth McElroy, and who owned Kenneth or McElroy's garage, and I asked him to replace my thermostat housing and repair my cooling system. After I received my car back, I continued having issues with the cooling system, and it cost me additional repairs, after turning it to them, they told me that everything was fixed and that it would run normally. And while that period of time from then, which I believe was beginning of September to November, I was under the impression that my car was running correctly. But in the winter, my car was not heating up, the heater wasn't working, and the engine was running cold. I took it to an independent mechanic, and I asked him to be able to check it out for me and figure out why my heater wasn't working. When he opened up the thermostat housing, which holds the thermostat, he said that there was no thermostat in there. In the evidence provided to the court, I messaged um, Roger, who identified himself as an employee of Leroy's Garage, and I questioned him why there was no thermostat into my in my engine. He responded that it was because it was overheating. Now, that wouldn't be the case because the thermostat prevents overheating and allows coolant to flow through when it gets too hot. And in the first piece of evidence that I've submitted to the court and given to the defendants, he in the message says, quote, "But that's the reason why we didn't put a thermostat back in it. We didn't want it to get overheated again." And and uh, Leroy's Garage has also claimed that Roger is not an employee, but in document number I apologize, in document number 5, it's a screenshot of text messages between me and Roger. And in the first two messages I received from Roger, he identified himself as, quote, "This is Roger with Leroy's Garage," unquote. And then again with, quote, "Hello, Ian. This is Roger at Leroy's Garage," unquote. I had an addition, in the documents provided to the court in exhibit 3, I paid Kenneth McElroy for the repairs. I paid him a total of $950. And then I also had to spend an extra 236 in repairs for the damage that was done. And I'm seeking $2,000 in damages and $295 in court fees. In the text messages, if you'd like to read those, he admits that he did not put a thermostat back into the engine. But if you and they claim that I was informed, or that they did put a thermostat back in, that you can read my messages to them, and it does not, I clearly do not sound happy that they did not put a thermostat back in. And I had the mechanic that inspected the vehicle put a thermostat back in that day, and the car started operating correctly from that point on. And Exhibit number 4 is a independent mechanic that repaired that was the mechanic that repaired my engine and put a thermostat back in there. That is his statement that there was no thermostat inside of the engine, and why that is not correct. And it has the business name and address and phone number on there. And
Anything else, sir?
yes, sir. I'm so sorry. Uh, Exhibit 6 is one of the receipts that I received for the repairs that I needed to have on the car because of the improper repair. The um, next 3 exhibits are all court filing fees.
So the courts understand, you're saying you spent a total of $950 initially on repair costs to this garage, and then there was an additional cost that you said was 200 and what?
It was 200, I'm sorry. It was the two it was $286.
$286. And what was that for?
That was for the first time was the coolant level was too low. The radiator tubes had popped off, and I was not informed that they did not tighten them. They did not correctly screw them on. So I hired the independent mechanic to put them on. And then when it got to the winter, I hired that same mechanic again to figure out why my engine wasn't heating up enough. And that's when I found out that they had not installed the thermostat.
So did they replace a water pump on your car?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the water pump working fine?
Yes, sir.
Right. So the only problem is that they failed to put a thermostat in there,
Yes, Your Honor.
allegation, and you had to go to another repair facility to get that fixed, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. And I have the statement from the independent
Right, I saw
mechanic.
that. So just for clarification, because we're talking thermostats, but I'm also seeing on the documents here that they replaced the water pump. There's no problems with the water pump. That's working fine, correct?
The problem with the entire cooling system was not working correctly, but the tubes they didn't correctly repair it because I'm not sure about the water pump specifically, but they improperly repaired the cooling system because the tubes repeatedly kept popping off, and I had to keep returning it to them. And eventually, I'm assuming what happened was they removed the thermostat so that coolant wouldn't build up pressure and it would just flow through the engine, which caused problems.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Kenneth, you want to tell me what's going on here?
Okay, well, first of all, I am not a mechanic. I do paint and body work. He did the whole job. So I don't even know why I'm here.
Well, you're the owner of the shop, correct?
Yeah, but he doesn't work for me.
Okay, if you're the owner of the shop, then, that's where he took it to. That's why you're here, sir. Okay?
No, he did the thermostat at his personal house. He came from his house and went to his house and did the thermostat.
Okay,
At his house in his driveway, not in my shop.
so you're saying hold on a second.
Okay,
So you're saying he's suing the wrong person?
looks like to me.
All right. Ian, why don't you answer this question for me? How is Kenneth McElroy involved in this?
So, Your Honor, Kenneth McElroy owns the Leroy's garage, and I had before taking my truck to Leroy's garage, I had never met McElroy, Mr. Kenneth, nor Mr. Roger. I never met Mr. Roger until the day that he returned my truck to me. And as you can see in the Zelle payments, I paid Kenneth McElroy.
Okay. So that's why your name's on here, because he paid you for the services. Okay,
Right, and
you're
the
like an
reason why-
intermediary, okay?
The reason why.
So let's just answer this question here. Let's just make this simple. Was the thermostat taken out of the car or not? Make it work.
At his house,
At whose house?
his house.
Okay,
He called me from Fort Worth. That's what I'm trying to say. I came over from west side of Fort Worth.
to work on his car at his house. And the radiator hoses was already blowing off of it.
Okay,
He got it so hot, it would blow, and I think it'd blow the head gasket. He got it so hot, not me. When I got there, the radiator hose was already blew off.
okay,
And I took the thermostat out right then and there, cut the end of it, put it back on, and then he blew it off again before I even got out the driveway. He did that, not me. He said he never met me before he met me at the garage. He's lying. I met him at his house. I did the work at his house.
okay. Anything else? Ian, why don't you answer the question? Did they do the work in the garage or at your house?
So originally in August, I provided my truck to McElroy's garage and I left my keys there and I walked back home. So then what happened was they gave me my truck back and the radiator hoses kept popping off. And what I had to do was I called them from my house because I was not able to move my truck. I was not able to do anything with it. I called the person that identified himself in the text messages provided to the court that he said, "This is Roger with Leroy's garage." Without any prompting for me, he messaged me. If you look at the messages, he messaged me on August 26th at 10:51 a.m. "This is Roger with Leroy's garage." And again on Sunday, August 31st, "Hello, Ian. This is Roger with at Leroy's garage." Now, the day that I picked up my truck in August, at the end of August, where I had originally paid $800 for the repairs, I met Mr. McElroy and I met Mr. Roger and I received the car from them. I drove it home, and then that's when the radiator hoses had popped off because they had not correctly repaired them. And so I called the number that I had for Kenneth or for Roger that identified himself working with Leroy's garage. I said, "Sir, my radiator hoses popped off. I'm not sure what to do. I like I did not touch the engine. I just trusted that you guys did correctly repaired it." And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna come. I'm in Fort Worth. I'm gonna come down to your house and I'm gonna fix it for you." And I said, "Okay, that's great, sir. Thank you so much." And so he showed up at my house and he in fact took me in his car to get to AutoZone or Riley's to buy new coolant to put in the engine. And he never told me that he was removing the thermostat or touching anything. I assumed that he was fixing the radiator hoses, which had popped off, which was the reason why I had called him.
No.
You're shaking your head no, but I'm looking at a text message chain showing your phone number. This is Roger with Leroy's Garage. We're working on your truck right now. There's a problem, and I need to know if you want me to continue working on it or not because the whole timing belt cover is busted. It's got a big hole in it. Call me.
That was the water pump.
Okay. So the water pump. So you replaced the water pump?
Yes, I did.
Did you replace it at a shop or at his house?
I did it right in the front door in the shop right here.
Okay.
But when I.
So you're representing yourself as an employee of his,
No.
with this, well, that's what this text message represents. You're saying you're not, he's saying you're not. So we're gonna continue with this
The
case
whole
today.
deal was, to begin with, he called me from Fort Worth and told me his radiator hoses kept blowing off. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I said, okay, I'll come down there. I'll come do it. I went to his house
Okay,
and put his radiator.
hold on a second, Robin. Did you replace the water pump on his truck at the shop?
At the shop, yeah.
Okay, then after he left, it kept popping the hoses, correct?
No, the hoses was already popping on before I got to his house.
Okay, but after you changed the water pump, was it popped off?
I
Did it
don't
pop
think
off?
so. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No, it popped off at his house.
At his house,
And I had
after
to
you
change
changed the water pump?
Yeah,
Okay,
I had to change the hose clamp because the hose clamp and the squeeze clamp,
okay.
and that stopped it from popping off.
So now, we've got this part figured out. But he's saying that he had to go take it back into another shop because there was no thermostat in there.
There was no thermostat because it had a blown head gasket.
So you didn't put a
I
thermostat in.
didn't put, but I took the thermostat out at his house
Okay,
and I showed him, and I cut that thermostat off right there and put that housing back on
okay,
at his house.
okay,
I met him at his house, not at the shop.
okay. Thank you. That gives some clarification. So Ian, is there a blown head gasket on that car?
The blown head gasket.
Yes, sir.
I'm not aware of a blown head gasket. What happened was I
Are you
called.
still driving that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So so what had happened was I was driving home from church on Sunday, and I was just about to get home, and my check engine light popped on. I was like, okay, well, thankfully it happened right before I got home. So I got home, I turned off the engine. I was like, I hope those coolant hoses didn't pop off again, because that would be inconvenient, because they had popped off before, and I had called Mr. McElroy and asked him what to do, and it was I was headed home from work. It was late at night, so I ended up walking somewhere to get water to fill in there temporarily, and so when Mr. Roger came to my house, it was on a Sunday, and I was not paying attention to what he was doing. I trusted his work, because I had hired Leroy's garage, as he identified himself as an employee as. And even on the Sunday that I had the incident, when I had messaged Mr. McElroy that there was a problem with my engine, and as you can see in the text messages, Roger contacts me on that Sunday, not the other way around,
okay.
and he
So just for
says, "Hello."
clarification, let me just cut through some of this chase here, okay? Because
Yes,
I
sir.
kind of got a full picture of everything now. But so after the initial repairs were done in your yard, they tightened up the hoses and everything. You didn't have any more problems till it got wintertime. And then you realize this thing isn't heating up. So you took it to another shop and they discovered that the thermostat was messing, correct?
Yes, sir. But I
All right.
was never informed that the thermostat was being removed, or that it would cause my engine damage.
Is there damage to the engine?
Or not damage to the engine, but that it wouldn't make the engine function properly, as the heater wasn't working and it wasn't heating up to regular temperature.
Okay. So what did you pay the shop in Mansfield to put a thermostat in?
I paid them $144.
90 cents?
Yes, sir.
But the rest of the repairs,
Or I apologize. So I paid them twice to the first time I requested that they add, or they replace the coolant in my radiator, and that was in November, and then I did not find out about the thermostat problem, because I assumed that the coolant was the reason why the engine wasn't heating up, and I did not find out till January 18th, that the thermostat had not been reinstalled.
do you have a receipt for what you paid them in reference to that coolant exchange?
Yes, sir. So the screenshots on Exhibit 3 are the bank statements, and then Exhibit on Exhibit 6, it's the photo of the purchase on January 17th for the repair.
Okay, so I show 144.90 on January the 17th, 2026.
Yes,
And
Your
then
Honor.
the bank statement, it was $50 for the fluid change.
The what?
You said $50.
The bank statement, the coolant change was 141. There's on exhibit number 3, there's 2 screenshots. There's a screenshot of 2 withdrawals from Quality Auto Lube, one totaling 144.90, which was the instance where the thermostat was installed, and then there was one in November 16th for $141.12, which was the coolant change, and then that same screenshot shares the bank statements that I sent the money to Kenneth McElroy.
All right, thank you. All right, Kenneth, anything else you want to add?
No.
Roger, anything else you want to add while you're here?
Well, I just know he called me from Fort Worth, and I come to his house on a Sunday. And that truck had never been to the shop before that. Never. He brought it to the shop after he kept blowing radiator hoses off. And that's when I found out that the water pump was leaking.
So you did the repairs, but you did pull the thermostat out, correct?
At his house, yes. And right here, he was sitting right there beside me when I did it. He
Right.
seen me doing it. And he's sitting there saying he didn't know it.
Your Honor, am I able to add something?
Go ahead, Ian. Or Ian. Go ahead.
Denied?
Go ahead, Ian.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Everyone-
actually, when I first presented this the request for the refund to Kenneth McElroy, they said that I was standing nearby and that I knew what was happening. Standing by isn't the same as giving consent. I had no information that this was not a proper repair. And even if I had been standing right next to him watching his every move, I'm not a mechanic and I wouldn't know what would be an improper repair. So I trusted um his job as he was the one that was working on my car.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I got
No. So for clarification on the court, last question on this, you're saying you have not had any problems with the water pump since they installed it, correct?
No, Your Honor, besides the
Thermostat being the only issue, correct?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. With everything presented to this court today, it is in the belief that your garage is responsible for the removal of the thermostat in accordance to automotive regulations, that you have to have a thermostat in a vehicle for it to operate properly. So I'm granting relief to the plaintiff today in the amount of $285.90 on what he had to pay the other shop to do a fluid change and install a thermostat. Mr. Headland, if your water pump is working and functioning properly, I'm not going to grant any relief in reference to that. So gentlemen, you
Yes,
owe
sir.
this young man $285.90 with the court cost and service fee that he paid to have this case filed. We'll get a copy of the judgment to you. If you'll see my clerks at the window, you can see that. Once you take care and pay that judgment to him, then he needs to send us a release of judgment. Okay?
Judge will have a post-judgment interest.
6.75% now.
one thing though, Leroy's garage has been dissolved.
Doesn't matter. You're a DBA, you're not a corporation, so you're an individual. So you're responsible for it, sir. The money went to you. You represented that fact. Okay?
Fair enough.
All right. So if you'll see my clerks at the window there, they'll get you a copy of the judgment, get this young man taken care of, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Am I allowed to be dismissed?
You are, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you. You have a blessed day.
Bye-bye.